When Bryan Singer was fired from the Queen biopic, some of us opened up an umbrella and held on to something sturdy while waiting for a downpour of other shoes, sandals, wingtips, espadrilles and combat boots to drop. The other shoe has dropped in the form of a lawsuit by a man who claims when he was 17 years old, Bryan raped him during a party on a yacht. But Kevin Spacey shouldn't clear out a drawer for Bryan in his room at an Arizona creep rehabilitation facility just yet. Because Bryan claims that the lawsuit is nothing but a shakedown, breakdown, takedown everybody wants into the crowded line. Sorry, I know now is not the time for a Bob Seger, but that's what my brain immediately starts singing whenever I see the word shakedown. Blame it. We've all heard about Bryan Singer's pool parties, where older dudes party and booze it up with twinks, some of which may not be old enough to vote. In 2014, Michael Egan sued Bryan Singer, claiming Bryan drugged and raped him at one of those pool parties when he was just 15. Michael Egan later dropped the lawsuit. Bryan Singer's latest accuser claims that his assault happened at a party too, but this time the party was on a boat. TMZ was first to report that Cesar Sanchez Guzman says in his lawsuit that in 2003, he went to a party on a yacht in the Seattle area. The yacht was owned by rich tech investor Lester Walters. Cesar was 17 at the time and the party was filled with young boys like him. Cesar met Bryan, who offered to give him a private tour of the boat. That tour led to a room where Cesar says that Bryan knocked him to the floor and forced him to perform oral. Cesar states in the lawsuit that Bryan then performed oral on him before anally raping him. Cesar repeatedly screamed no and begged for Bryan to stop but was ignored. Cesar claims that later on during the party, Bryan came up to him and whispered a post-rape sweet nothing into his ear by saying that no one will believe him if he says anything and that Bryan can hire people to destroy his reputation. Bryan allegedly told Cesar that he's big in Hollywood and can help him get into acting as long as he keep his lips shut about what happened. That would have been the perfect time for a giant iceberg to suddenly sprout up in the ocean right before the yacht hit it, causing Bryan to fall overboard and into the mouth of a shark wearing a parka. The shark is wearing a parka, because the ocean has to be cold enough for an iceberg to sprout up. I like my stupid, nonsensical jokes to sort of make sense. Of course, Bryan denies it all and he released a denial through his rep and his lawyer Andrew Bratler. Bryan and his team are wasting no time in trying to paint Cesar as a lying money grubber. The statement says that Cesar's lawyer is Jeff Herman, the same lawyer who first represented Michael Egan. Jeff later dropped Michael as his client. The statement also says that Cesar filed for bankruptcy and didn't mention the allegations in his list of assets. So either Bryan gave Cesar hash money, or a rape allegation is an asset. I don't know. I'm no Star Jones. Bryan categorically denies these allegations and will vehemently defend this lawsuit to the very end. Cesar Sanchez Guzman apparently claims that he did not remember this alleged incident from 2003 until now. Significantly, when Sanchez Guzman filed for bankruptcy only a few years ago, he failed to disclose this alleged claim when he was supposed to identify all of his assets, but conveniently, now that the bankruptcy court discharged all of his debts, he is able to recall the alleged events. The attorney behind this lawsuit is the same lawyer who represented Michael Egan, the convicted felon who sued Bryan Singer in 2014. In the end, Egan was forced to dismiss that case once the facts came out and his story completely fell apart. Egan and his attorneys then found themselves as defendants in a malicious prosecution action brought by some of the individuals who Egan previously sued. In an apology to those individuals, Egan's attorney acknowledged the claims that had been filed were untrue and provably false. Notwithstanding his track record, this same lawyer is coming after Bryan again. We are confident that this case will turn out the same way the Egan case did. And once Bryan prevails, he will pursue his own claims for malicious prosecution. Right before the news of this lawsuit came out, TMZ did a street interview with Bryan Singer in West Hollywood. Bryan answered nearly all of TMZ's questions. Bryan shrugged off getting replaced as director on The Queen, because he says it was almost done anyway. Bryan also swatted away the stories that he was fired for fighting with Rami Malek, and once again spit out the explanation that he was away from the set because his mother was sick and in the hospital. TMZ's cameraman asked Bryan if he's expecting any more damaging stories to come out against him. You know, like stories about him allegedly raping boys. Bryan swatted that away too and said that he's not worried. Most of Bryan's interview happened in front of a Wahlburgers sign, so it's like he's having an asshole off with Marky Mark. Bryan also shot down Gabriel Bryan's story about how production on The Usual Suspects was put on hold for 2 days after a young actor accused Kevin Spacey of doing something wholly inappropriate to him. When asked if he'd ever work with Kevin Spacey again, Bryan said, "Depends on the project, I guess. I wonder what kind of project they could work on together." Hell's Nine Circle Productions is proud to present If We Raped Him. Written by Woody Allen, produced by Harvey Weinstein, co-directed by Bryan Singer and Brett Ratner, and starring Kevin Spacey, Bill Cosby and more. Pickwen.com. Our commenting rules are pretty simple. If you make any overly offensive comment, racist, bigoted, etc., or go way off topic when not in an open post, your comments will be deleted and you will be banned. If you see an offensive or spammy comment you think should be deleted, flag it for the mods and they'll be forever grateful and give you their firstborn, although you probably don't want that.